you. So with the time left, I want to do right now, I want to get to one of my favorite parts of the show every week. We do a section called Myths versus Facts. And again, this is designed to help clear the air. Again, health can be misleading. Navigating your health can be misleading. As I said in the beginning, I want people to leverage me, leverage my network of health experts, and let's get healthy together, but let's tell the truth. Let's set the record straight. So how it works, I say a statement, and my panel says myth or fact, and they give me a little statement why it's a myth or a fact. We'll kind of keep it rapid fire a little bit. And so, but again, we're helping to try to clear the air. So here we go. Myths versus facts. Vaping. Here we go. First statement to Dr. Kovar. All right. Here it is. Myth or fact. E-cigarettes help people quit smoking.
That would be a myth. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's about 30% of kids or people that start with e-cigarettes will eventually move on to cigarettes. So, nice try, Jewel, but no. Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss. I will say there was just a recent publication done by New England Journal of Medicine, at least in the adult population. Certainly, again, it's not happening in the youth population. Something that was published recently in the adult population about looking at e-cigarette use versus nicotine replacement therapies. And you saw a little bit of a change. I believe it was, quote, twice as likely, but this was just published last month in the New England Journal of Medicine by a randomized trial of e-cigarettes versus nicotine replacement therapy. But we still have to do much more work. The reality, and even what Dr. Kovar could probably say, is that people are double dipping. They're doing e-cigarette and traditional cigarettes as well. Dr. Weiner, here you go. Here's a statement. All right. Exposure to e-cigarette vapor is harmful to bystanders. Is that a myth or a fact?
So that is a fact. There are a number of chemicals that have been detected both in the vapor that's inhaled as well as the vapor that's expelled. Essentially, the bottom line of all of this is that while there are fewer carcinogens and toxins in an aerosol from a vape pen than a cigarette, there are still absolutely a bunch of them. I think there is one study out of Berkeley Labs that found 31 different toxic chemicals in there. It's not a benign substance. So absolutely, it is a fact that the vapor is harmful to bystanders.
Thank you. Here we go, Dr. Kovar. Statement, myth or fact. Vaping does not harm the lungs.
Oh boy, that would definitely be a myth. It's the problem is that the studies, it's so new that we haven't seen what the long-term effects are. But yes, you get, the popcorn lung, you get all these things. There are different problems that are coming along, and we're just starting to now see some of the effects. And it's gonna, it's one of those things we always kind of say, you don't want to find out 20 years from now, like, oh yeah, gosh, you thought it was good, but now it's not. And let's build that time machine and go back and stop you from 20 years ago from doing this. It just doesn't happen. So it's better to not even do it, because yes, we have something, we just don't even know how bad it's going to be. And then wouldn't you hate to find out it was actually worse than smoking? And they're both bad. Don't say, oh, the dog starts smoking. But it's just, it's
Going back to earlier when I said our lungs are designed to breathe air. I cannot be any clearer than that. You got to breathe air. All right, thank you, Dr. Kovar. All right, here's the next statement, Dr. Weiner. Here we go. Myth or fact, vaping. Here we go. E-cigarette vapors contain formaldehyde. What do we know about that?
So that is absolutely a fact. It has been found in studies. Actually, there was a study put out by the Center for Tobacco Control Research and Education that found formaldehyde along with at least 9 other cancer-causing carcinogens in the vapors. So it's something that a lot of kids will say, or things like, oh, well, it's just water and salt and all that. That's one, as I alluded to earlier in the show, that's not all that's in there. There's a base. It's usually either propylene glycol or vegetable glycerin, but when you heat that and you also heat the flavoring up, the chemical composition changes. It turns into a lot of other things additionally, depending on how you operate your device. There's some that actually the heavy metal that are in the heating element can flake off as well. And there's been lead, cadmium, nickel, a lot of things found in the vaping aerosol. So, and I guess actually I'm going to tack one other thing on here too. There's a huge amount of heterogeneity in vape juice. So part of the issue is there's no regulation to what's being produced. It's all basically being done in China right now. And so what's in there, what's not, if the labels are accurate, you really don't know. So absolutely, it's a fact there's formaldehyde and a lot of other bad stuff in there too.
We'll piggyback on that one, Dr. Weiner. Just last week, the U.S. FDA came out and released its proposed guidelines giving companies until the year 2021 to apply to have their e-cigarette products evaluated more formally. It's interesting, that was a date that was postponed. The FDA originally had told e-cigarette companies they had until August 2018 to basically give information on their products, but the agency later on came out and said more preparation time was needed, again, kind of still kicking the can down the road. All right, here we go. Next statement here. We'll do a few more of these. Dr. Kovar, here we go. Statement.
All right.
E-cigarettes will lead young people into smoking. What are your thoughts on that?
Again, kind of like I was alluding to before, some of the studies have shown that e-cigarettes are one of the things that will lead kids into eventually smoking the cigarettes, because the nicotine might not be enough. It's also they're already kind of here as they get older. They need that next level up, and so maybe they go into cigarettes. So yeah, it's definitely something that they can lead into.
Excellent. Here we go, Dr. Weiner. And then maybe I might do one of these myself just for fun. Who knows? It depends on how I feel. Got two more of these. Here we go. Here we go, Dr. Weiner. Here we go. E-cigarettes are not risk-free, but are far less harmful than cigarettes.
So that one's tough to say. So that is definitely more fact than myth, although I think the word far is what I'm getting hung up on. So basically we know that there are more toxins. We know that for short-term health outcomes that cigarettes are, we know there's more toxins in cigarettes. There's more short-term negative health outcomes and damage to organ systems from cigarettes. However, the gap between them, we really don't know yet. And actually, we're still getting the data on the longitudinal studies on cancer, although we do know and we do have conclusive evidence that the toxins and the carcinogens from vaping do cause DNA mutagenesis, which causes cancer. So it's one of these things where the way I like to put it when I'm presenting on the subject is that if you are smoking cigarettes, the only time you should ever vape is if you are smoking cigarettes, because then you are poisoning yourself less quickly, because you're still poisoning yourself. So how much less, I don't know, but it is true that you are poisoning yourself less.
Well, hey, you hit the head on the nail. Dr. Kovar and I are here kind of like smirking a little bit at each other, but you summed that up really, really, really well there. You're poisoning yourself less quickly, and that would lead me into the last statement that I was going to say, and I said I might participate in myths versus facts, but here it is. We'll see if I like this. E-cigarettes lower immunity to infections and germs, and I'm going to say absolutely. You do e-cigarettes, you inhale something into your lungs that's not normally supposed to be into your lungs. You're putting yourself right at risk for a whole host of potential issues, including infection, organisms, germs, you name it, and of course, as my panelists have said, a lot of other contaminants and products that are very bad chemicals for your lungs. So thank you guys. That was a great myth versus facts, vaping style. So here we go.